What if I told you that the secret to true happiness isn't getting more of what you want, but wanting less of what you don't need? What if the path to inner strength wasn't about holding on tighter, but about learning to let go? Today, we're diving deep into The Art of Detachment by Shubham Kumar Singh, a transformative guide that reveals how finding strength through presence, calmness, and detachment can revolutionize your entire approach to life. In our hyper-connected world, we're constantly bombarded with pressures to achieve more, acquire more, and be more. We attach ourselves to outcomes, people, and possessions, believing they hold the key to our happiness. But what if this very attachment is the root of our suffering? This book isn't about becoming cold or indifferent. It's about discovering a profound truth that spiritual masters have known for centuries. True freedom comes not from getting what we want, but from releasing our desperate need to control every aspect of our lives. Over the next 30 minutes, we'll explore the practical wisdom contained in this remarkable book, chapter by chapter, and discover how you can apply the art of detachment to create more peace, clarity, and authentic happiness in your own life. So, settle in, open your mind, and prepare to learn one of life's most liberating skills. Chapter 1. Understanding Detachment. Singh begins by addressing the biggest misconception about detachment, that it means becoming emotionally numb or uncaring. Nothing could be further from the truth. True detachment is about engaging fully with life while remaining internally free from the outcomes. It's like being a skilled surfer who rides the waves with complete presence and skill, but doesn't try to control the ocean itself. The author explains that attachment creates a cycle of suffering. When we're attached to specific outcomes, we experience anxiety while pursuing them, and either temporary satisfaction or devastating disappointment when we succeed or fail. This emotional roller coaster keeps us trapped in a constant state of unrest. Detachment, however, allows us to participate fully in life's experiences while maintaining inner stability. When you're detached, you can love deeply without possessiveness, work hard without being consumed by results, and face challenges without losing your center. Singh introduces the concept of witnessing consciousness, the part of you that observes your thoughts, emotions, and experiences without being overwhelmed by them. This witness is always calm, always present, and always free. The practical lesson here is revolutionary. You can care about things without being enslaved by them. You can pursue goals with passion while holding the outcomes lightly. This isn't about becoming passive. It's about becoming powerful in a completely different way. Chapter 2. The Illusion of Control. One of the most liberating realizations in this book is understanding how little we actually control in life. Singh uses the metaphor of a river to illustrate this truth. We can choose how to navigate the current, but we cannot control the river itself. Most of our stress and anxiety comes from trying to control things that are ultimately beyond our influence. Other people's behavior, unexpected events, the past, or future outcomes. We exhaust ourselves pushing against forces that will not bend to our will. The author shares a powerful story about a farmer whose horse ran away. When neighbors said, "How terrible," the farmer replied, "Maybe." When the horse returned with wild horses, they said, "How wonderful." Again he said, "Maybe." This continued through various events, each seeming good or bad. But the wise farmer understood that the true nature of any event is unknowable and constantly changing. Singh explains that our attempts to control life often backfire. The tighter we grip, the more stressed we become. The more we try to force outcomes, the more resistance we create. It's like trying to catch water in your hands. The harder you squeeze, the more it slips away. But here's the transformative insight. When you release the need to control everything, you discover a different kind of power. You become like water itself, flowing around obstacles, finding the path of least resistance, and ultimately reaching your destination with grace and efficiency. The practical application is to identify areas in your life where you're fighting losing battles against unchangeable circumstances. Instead of wasting energy on what you can't control, redirect that power toward what you can influence, your thoughts, your responses, and your choices in each moment. Chapter 3. Presence and Mindfulness. Singh reveals that detachment isn't possible without presence. When your mind is scattered between regrets about the past and anxieties about the future, you're never truly here to experience life as it actually is. The author explains that most suffering happens in mental time travel. We relive painful memories or imagine fearful futures, missing the only moment where life actually occurs, right now. This constant mental chatter keeps us trapped in cycles of attachment and reaction. True presence is a doorway to freedom. When you're fully here, you naturally become less reactive and more responsive. You see situations more clearly, make better decisions, and experience a profound sense of aliveness that no external achievement can match. Singh offers practical techniques for cultivating presence. The simplest is conscious breathing. Whenever you notice your mind spinning stories about past or future, gently return attention to your breath. This isn't about stopping thoughts, but about not being carried away by them. Another powerful practice is mindful observation. Throughout your day, take moments to simply notice what's happening without immediately judging it as good or bad. Watch your thoughts like clouds passing in the sky, present but temporary, and not essentially you. The author emphasizes that presence is not a state you achieve once and keep forever. It's a practice you return to again and again. Each moment offers a fresh opportunity to wake up and be here. When you're truly present, detachment becomes natural. You engage fully with whatever you're doing while remaining spaciously aware of the bigger picture. You participate in the drama of life without losing yourself in it. Chapter 4. Emotional Freedom. Singh addresses one of the most challenging aspects of detachment, dealing with emotions without being controlled by them. He makes clear that detachment doesn't mean suppressing feelings, but rather changing your relationship with them. Most people identify completely with their emotions. When anger arises, they become anger. When sadness appears, they are sadness. This total identification creates intense suffering because emotions by nature are temporary and constantly changing. The author introduces the concept of emotional weather. Just as external weather changes constantly, sometimes sunny, sometimes stormy, sometimes calm, your internal emotional weather is equally fluid. The key is learning to be the sky that contains all weather, rather than identifying with each passing cloud. Singh explains that emotions become problematic when we resist them or cling to them. Resistance creates inner conflict and tension. Clinging tries to make permanent what is naturally impermanent. Both strategies increase suffering. The path of detachment involves allowing emotions to flow through you without being swept away. When anger arises, you notice it, feel it fully, and let it pass without acting destructively. When joy appears, you appreciate it without desperately trying to make it last forever. This doesn't make you emotionally flat or unresponsive. Instead, you become more emotionally intelligent and authentic. Your responses come from wisdom rather than reactivity. You can feel deeply while maintaining your center. The practical technique Singh recommends is the RAIN method. Recognize what you're feeling, allow it to be there without resistance, investigate it with curious kindness and non-identification, remembering that you are the awareness experiencing the emotion, not the emotion itself. Chapter 5. Relationships and Detachment. Perhaps the most misunderstood aspect of detachment involves relationships. Singh addresses the fear that detachment will make you cold, distant, or unable to love fully. He reveals the opposite truth. Detachment enables deeper, more authentic relationships. Attached love is often possessive, needy, and conditional. We love people for what they do for us, how they make us feel, or how they fit into our expectations. This creates pressure and often drives people away. When someone doesn't meet our attached expectations, we suffer and often blame them for our pain. Detached love is unconditional and freeing. You love people for who they are, not for what they provide or how they behave. You want their happiness even when it doesn't directly benefit you. This kind of love actually draws people closer because they feel accepted rather than controlled. Singh explains that healthy boundaries are essential for detached relationships. You can care deeply about someone while refusing to be manipulated or mistreated. You can offer support without taking responsibility for another person's choices or emotions. The author shares that detachment in relationships means loving without attachment to specific outcomes. You express love freely, without guarantees of reciprocation. You support others' growth, even when it leads them in directions you wouldn't choose. This approach eliminates much relationship drama. You stop trying to change people or control their behavior. You don't take their moods or decisions personally. You love generously while maintaining your own emotional stability. The practical application involves examining your relationships for signs of unhealthy attachment. Notice where you're trying to control, manipulate, or change others. Practice loving without conditions or expectations. This doesn't mean becoming a doormat. It means loving from strength rather than need. Chapter 6. Work and Purpose. Singh explores how to apply detachment principles to career and life purpose. In a culture obsessed with achievement and success, this teaching is particularly revolutionary. The author distinguishes between working with passion and working with attachment. Passionate work comes from love and engagement. Attached work comes from desperation and ego-driven need for specific outcomes. One is sustainable and fulfilling. The other leads to burnout and disappointment. When you work with detachment, you give your absolute best effort while remaining open to whatever results emerge. You pursue excellence for its own sake rather than only for external rewards. This paradoxically often leads to better outcomes because you're not limited by anxiety about failure. Singh explains that detached work means finding fulfillment in the process rather than only in achievements. You enjoy the journey of learning, creating, and contributing regardless of external recognition. This makes you more resilient when facing setbacks and more balanced during successes. The practical lesson is to regularly check your motivation. Are you working from love or from fear, from authentic purpose or from societal pressure, from inner guidance or from attachment to others' approval? Detached work aligns with your deepest values and natural gifts. Chapter 7. Dealing with Loss. One of life's greatest challenges is facing loss, and Singh addresses this with deep compassion and practical wisdom. He acknowledges that loss is inevitable. We will lose people we love, opportunities we wanted, and versions of ourselves we've outgrown. The author explains that attachment amplifies the pain of loss. When we cling desperately to impermanent things, their inevitable departure creates intense suffering. Detachment doesn't eliminate the natural sadness of loss, but it prevents unnecessary additional anguish. Singh teaches that everything in life is borrowed. Our relationships, our health, our possessions, even our lives themselves. We never truly own anything in the ultimate sense. Understanding this impermanence can be initially unsettling, but ultimately liberating. The practice involves holding everything lightly while appreciating it fully. You love deeply while accepting that loss is part of love. You enjoy experiences completely while knowing they won't last forever. This awareness actually enhances appreciation rather than diminishing it. When loss occurs, detachment allows you to grieve authentically. Without drowning in despair, you honor what was while remaining open to what might emerge. You carry gratitude for experiences while releasing the need to repeat them. Chapter 8. Finding Inner Peace. Singh concludes by exploring the ultimate fruit of detachment practice, genuine inner peace. He clarifies that this isn't the temporary calm that comes from favorable circumstances, but an unshakable tranquility that remains present regardless of external conditions. Inner peace emerges naturally when you stop fighting reality. Most inner turmoil comes from arguing with what's already happening, wishing circumstances were different, or resisting natural changes. Detachment involves accepting what is while skillfully responding from that acceptance. The author explains that peace isn't found by arranging external conditions perfectly. That's impossible and temporary. True peace is discovered by changing your relationship with whatever conditions exist. You become like a mountain, stable and serene, while weather patterns change around you. Singh offers daily practices for cultivating this peace. Regular meditation creates space between you and your thoughts. Mindful activities anchor you in the present moment. Gratitude practices shift attention from what's missing to what's abundant. The most profound teaching is that inner peace is your natural state. It's not something you achieve through effort, but something you uncover by removing the mental habits that obscure it. Detachment is simply the process of letting go of what prevents peace from naturally arising. When you consistently practice detachment, peace becomes your baseline rather than a temporary experience. You may still face challenges and changes, but your core remains undisturbed. This inner stability becomes a gift not only to yourself, but to everyone whose life you touch. As we reach the end of our journey through the art of detachment, let's take a moment to reflect on the profound wisdom Shubham Kumar Singh has shared with us. The art of detachment isn't about becoming indifferent to life. It's about engaging with life more fully and freely than ever before. It's about discovering that true strength comes not from controlling everything around you, but from maintaining inner peace regardless of external circumstances. Remember, detachment is a practice, not a destination. Every moment offers you a new opportunity to hold your experiences lightly, to love without possession, to work without desperation, and to be present without resistance. The key insights we've explored today are: true detachment enhances rather than diminishes your capacity for love and engagement. Most suffering comes from trying to control what cannot be controlled. Presence is the foundation of all genuine peace and wisdom. Emotions can be felt fully without consuming your identity. Relationships flourish when built on freedom rather than attachment. Work becomes fulfilling when pursued for its own sake. Loss becomes bearable when you understand the impermanent nature of all things. Inner peace is your natural state, revealed through the practice of letting go. The transformation this book offers isn't just philosophical, it's deeply practical. Starting today, you can begin practicing small acts of detachment. Notice where you're gripping too tightly. Observe when you're fighting against reality. Experiment with holding your goals and relationships more lightly. As Singh reminds us, the art of detachment is ultimately the art of living wisely. When you master this art, you discover freedom that no external circumstance can take away, love that doesn't diminish through sharing, and peace that remains constant through all of life's inevitable changes. Thank you for joining me on this exploration of one of life's most transformative teachings. May you find the courage to let go, the wisdom to be present, and the peace that comes from mastering the beautiful art of detachment. If this summary resonated with you, I encourage you to read the full book and begin your own practice of conscious detachment. Your future self will thank you for this invaluable gift.